I'll go right at the convention first, which is, despite the fact that you're well known, people know who you are, a lot of people haven't been paying attention to this election, and they'll start paying attention in the next 2 weeks. What's the takeaway that you want? The simple takeaway for undecided voters coming out of St. Paul about you, about your president, your candidates.
And I am most prepared to be president of the United States, and I'll put my country first.
And this goes, I think, that second part is about a theme that's recurrent in your speeches and your books about putting country first, but also honor.
Right.
And again, I wonder if you could define honor for us.
Find it in my books.
What?
Read my books.
No, I've read your books.
No, I don't want to. I'm not going to.
You're not going to define it. But in politics, how do you
find it? I defined it in 5 books. Read my books.
Okay. After you secured the nomination, after you secured the nomination, you toured the country, you went to some very un-Republican locations, you talked about the formative experiences in your life, you continued your tradition of talking to the press constantly, back to the bus, straight talking to the press. Things have definitely changed. Why? The campaign's become more disciplined, more traditional, more aggressive. What, from your point of view, why that decision? And is it hard for you to do it this way since you were pretty unique in the way you did it before?
I will do as much as we possibly can to provide as much access to the press as possible.
But beyond the press, sir, just in terms of...
I think we're running a fine campaign and I'm pleased where we are.
Miss it? Do you miss the old way of doing it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
No.
Come on, Senator.
We'll provide as much access as possible to them.
Okay. What lessons, well, you should ask me, what lessons do you draw from Hillary Clinton's campaign against Barack Obama?
I thought she ran a very honorable campaign and inspired millions of people, including women who did not. I think now it's very clear that a woman can be a very viable and strong candidate for President of the United States.
Was there anything in the way that she ran against Senator Obama successfully, especially towards the end, that taught you something about how to wage this campaign? No. Back in 2000, after the primaries, after it was all over, you went in a very famous occurrence. You went back to South Carolina to talk about what you felt was a mistake you made and how you didn't stand you took on the Confederate flag. That was a very unusual thing for a politician to do. Is there anything so far about this campaign that you wish you could take back, or where you've had to, I guess that's the question, that you wish you could take back, or you might revisit when it's over? Do I know you? I can't tell.
I'm very happy with the way our campaign was conducted, and I'm very pleased and humbled to have the nomination of the Republican Party.
When you decided to change your strategy, you do acknowledge that there was a change in the campaign, in the way you've been running the campaign. You don't acknowledge that. Okay, when your aides came to you and you decided to having been attacked by Barack Obama to run some of those ads, was there a debate? Were the things you ruled out bounds, or what was the process for you?
Campaigners go on and explain.
When General Petraeus last came and spoke before the Senate, you laid out a pretty clear definition of what you saw as victory in Iraq. I'll read
We're
it.
achieving it.
Yeah, they're achieving it.
You don't have to read it. We're achieving it.
But I wonder...
You don't have to read it.
He's not going to.
Okay.
You can ask the question.
The government of Iraq has made it clear, some members of the government made it clear in the last month or two, that they might want a withdrawal before complete stability, before totally secure borders, before some of the completeness of victory as you described it then. Is there any change do you think there is some wiggle room there before? Because what you described with Petraeus was an end point that was rather complete, a peaceful, stable country.
It's a peaceful and stable country now.
It is. But you wouldn't say that you've achieved victory now.
Yes, I would say that the surge has succeeded, and we are winning.
So it's just we haven't reached victory yet. Because wouldn't victory mean we could...
I'd say that, again, the surge has succeeded and we are winning.
Okay. But it's not yet at a point where significant drawdown of troops.
That's the view of General Petraeus. Well, General Petraeus' strategy has succeeded. When Senator Obama said it couldn't, and has denied that it has succeeded, that it has succeeded, and we will be able to withdraw as we have in every time in history when counterinsurgency succeeds.
Going back into biography a little bit,
I've described 1,000 times what victory is, and we've succeeded, and we are winning, and we will come home with honor and victory and not in defeat.
Jumping around a bit, in your books you talked about what it was like to go through the Keating 5 experience, and you've been quoted as saying, I think you said it was one of the worst experiences of your life. Somewhere else was quoted and you said it was even worse than being a POW.
That's another one of those statements made 1991, 17 or 18 years ago, which was out of the context of the conversation I was having. Of course, the toughest experience of my life was being in prison. So people can pluck phrases from 17 or 18 years ago.
I wasn't suggesting it was a negative thing. I was saying that it was.
I'm suggesting I'm just suggesting it was taken out of context, but I understand how comments are taken out of context from time to time. But obviously, the toughest time of my life, physically and every other way, would be the time that I almost died in a prison camp. And I think most Americans understand that.
I have a question about management style. There was a recent Washington Post interview with you in which you said that a certain amount of chaos, of differing opinions...
No, I said tension.
Tension.
There you go. That's a little different.
Okay. A certain amount of tension, differing opinions among your advisors was a good thing. And I'm struck by how when you talk to Obama about these things, he always talks about no drama. That's like the catchphrase that he's used internally over there. I wonder, I don't know if you want to comment on that, but the question I have is, what about that leadership style you draw from, what you know about how your father led and how your grandfather led? Well, there's a line that can be traced there.
Most great leaders in history, and I've studied, always need to get as wide a range of opinions as possible so that they can have sufficient information to make the right decisions. I think it's important that that the President of the United States consult as widely as possible with those who have different views so he or she can make the most informed decisions.
Creative tension is a good way to describe it, or?
No, as I said, I think to get as wide and varying differences of viewpoint on issues is the best, the most knowledgeable views is the best way to make an informed decision.
During the primaries, it was a Republican primary, and you and your aides would often reject the argument that you were somehow, way out of step with your party and your president. Now, in the general election, when the Democrats and Senator Obama try to portray